Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I'm Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to pull a card off the top of my I Am deck. This deck is full of positive affirmations, beautiful and wonderful things that we can say about us in order to just truly know who we are. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. It's going to have an empowering affirmation on there. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. And what I'd like for you to do is to respond out loud, I am that affirmation. So before we get to it, I want to say thank you so very much to the folks who shared this stream. You guys are truly the lifeblood of this. Because of you, I reach hundreds more people than I ordinarily would. So go you. You guys are rad. Anyways, so we are here to pull something off the top. So let's get on that right now by saying that today I am adventurous. I am adventurous. I explore the world to know myself. So I am adventurous. I explore the world to know myself. Are you adventurous? You are adventurous. You explore the world to know yourself. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write that down in the comments. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Armando. It is great to see you guys here today. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Brenda Jean. Let's see, it looks like Jelly is on. Good morning to you as well. Oh, what a wonderful group of folks that we have here. Good morning, Frank. All right, so I am writing this down that I am adventurous, and I see that some of you guys are doing it as well. And I know darn well that my friends are adventurous because, let's be real, I'm a pretty adventurous guy myself. I have crossed continents on motorcycles and whatnot. It's a lot of fun to do. But let's talk for a second about adventure and exploration. When I was a kid, I grew up close to the woods, and one of my greatest joys was going beyond the boundaries of where I had been before. I remember I was probably, 6 or 7 years old, maybe, and my parents had just really started to allow me to go off into the woods by myself a little bit. There wasn't really much danger of getting lost in the woods, but obviously there's plenty of dangers in the woods if you're not careful. Our woods had all kinds of single track and double track paths everywhere. We called them the quad trails because there were oftentimes people on four-wheeled quads who were out there in the woods playing on their off-road machines. And I recall thinking to myself, or I recall hearing of an island. So I grew up next to a small creek, and I recall that at some point I heard tell of this island that was pretty far away by little kid standards, probably about a 45-minute walk through the woods. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I'm just so excited to one day be old enough, to be big enough, to be adventurous enough to go and discover this island. And about the time that I was 11 or 12 years old, I actually was able to take that long walk and get to this little island, which really wasn't much more than a little pile of mud with some plants on it in the middle of this creek, maybe 20, 30 feet away from the shore. And I recall that the discovery of this island was just the coolest thing because I had pushed past. Good morning, Lauren. I had pushed past my own limitations. And adventure is about knowing ourselves. It's about understanding where the boundaries of us are and pushing past those boundaries, those mental boundaries, physical boundaries, emotional boundaries. That's what adventure is about. If we've done it before, it's not an adventure. I recall that after I had gone to that island and I had made it across that little river, which involved taking off my pants and wading across it so that my parents wouldn't know that I'd have been in the creek, because that was one thing that I was not allowed to do, is be in the creek. I recall that I explored that island and I thought it was amazing, and I went back maybe a couple months later, and the sense of adventure wasn't there anymore because I'd already done it. I was looking for new horizons. Later on, much later on in life, I was I had purposed to go and ride my motorcycle from North America down to Costa Rica. And as I was going through the United States of America on my motorcycle, I was very excited about crossing the border into Mexico and heading south into Costa Rica. And or heading south into Mexico, really, on my way to Costa Rica. Uh, and I recall that as I got closer to the border, I started to get this sense of anxiety because I'd never done it before. I'd never crossed a land border out of the United States. I mean, I had crossed borders in airports that are highly controlled and with security and with all these officials everywhere. But I had not once ever crossed a land border outside the United States, certainly not with a vehicle. There were some serious risks here. I risk losing my vehicle, risk losing the stuff that I had, risk losing my life. Lots of people don't make it across Mexico. And so I was understandably concerned about this. And as I got really close to that border, there was a very real part of me that considered turning back, that considered, okay, I could just put my motorcycle on an airplane and I could do the thing I've done before. Put my motorcycle on an airplane, put me on an airplane, ship both of us down there, and then ride my bike through Costa Rica because I knew Costa Rica. I'd already lived there for a while. But I asked myself, as I woke up in the hotel room that morning preparing to cross the border, I asked myself, I said, am I the kind of person who, looking back at my life 20, 30 years from now, do I want to say that I did it, that I overcame the fear, that I did it? Or do I want to be the kind of person who didn't do it? And I realized that the adventure was still there. The stakes were higher. The stakes were much higher. But I was still engaging on adventures. And I feel like I have continued to do that. And that the more that I explore the world, the more that I know myself. Exploring the world doesn't mean having a far-flung adventure like, traveling across North America or, south to Costa Rica on a motorcycle solo. Yeah, that's pretty adventurous. But we don't have to do things that are that extreme in order to have an adventure, in order to know ourselves, in order to push our own boundaries. Exploration is about doing things that we haven't done before, whatever those things may be. It could be as simple as going live on the internet. I go live on the internet, but there was a time in my life where I struggled about hitting that button because I had never done it before. So this card is our invitation today to have an adventure, to push our own boundaries, to go past where we were before, to live at that ragged edge of our own consciousness, to live at that place where what we have done before meets the unknown, that place of fear and excitement. The psychologist Gay Hendricks says that fear is just excitement without the breath. And so when we're excited about something, we tend to breathe heavily. And when we are afraid, we tend to hold our breath as if that's going to help us with our fear. And so today, I encourage you to go to that place where you notice that you stopped breathing and breathe into it. And the fear will turn into excitement. Because ultimately, we are well aware that as adults, we are pretty, we have an understanding of our own capabilities. So, and the only way that we expand is by doing things that we've never done before. So have an adventure. Have an adventure today. We'll be back at 10 p.m. tonight, or I'm sorry, at 9 p.m. tonight to talk about the adventures that we've had today. I'm going to ask you what kind of adventures you've had today, and I encourage you to have one. Big adventure, small adventure, long adventure, short adventure, it doesn't matter. Have an adventure that lasts 2 minutes. It's perfectly fine. I recognize that we have things to do. We have grown-up responsibilities. But an adventure is just an exploration of ourselves. So let's explore the world and let's know ourselves. I'll be back here at 9 p.m. tonight, and we will talk once again about adventures and how they showed up in our world. I want to say thank you so very much to everybody who's here, to Lauren, to Armando, to Frank, to Easy, to Shauna, to Brenda Jean, to Jelly, to let's see here. Who else is here? Looks like that's about it right now. Watching me live. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here and for enjoying some time with me today. Let's go have an adventurous today. Life itself is an adventure, and I look forward to hearing about yours. Aloha from paradise.